What you playing, man? What you hearing, man? What you rating, man? Vinyl owner. Vinyl boner. Vynyl Countdown. Vynyl Countdown.
All right, what's our format here, boys?
Who's going to kick it off?
Because I was the most wrong, according to Jack. So I had, 3 weeks of going through all kinds of albums. I was trying hard to look for stuff that I actually had or listened to on vinyl when I was young.
Did it give you a vinyl boner?
Did you ruin any jeans? Did you have to wash anything inside out?
I'm not stupid. I didn't wear pants.
Do you want to hear my first note? Just my first notes that I wrote down
It
while
sounds like
listening?
Dave's so proud of his notes.
I love my notes.
I love that Dave showing the initiative.
His notes look all wet and sloppy, though, man.
The first note for Pleased to Meet Me said, it's the best album without a Kiss cover or Gary's got a boner on it.
He has a point.
That's just my first note. The rest of them suck.
Bill?
What did you think when you saw the? What was the first thing popped in your head? As in, what the hell? I've never listened to this album, or I actually remember this album, or what? What was the first thing popped in your head? Sorry.
I thought I've never heard this before. It was a new listen for me.
All right.
I don't have a hard copy of it. I picked it up with Tim probably about a decade ago. Found something on Amazon where I got both Tim and Pleased to Meet Me at the same time.
I didn't know whether to review it as right now or when I first heard it. So when I first heard it, I still liked Tim better.
See, now Tim was the first album. But here's the little bit of why I started looking at replacements for this. I'd gone through a lot of albums I listened to when I was young, and one of the things I remember about the replacements was around 85, 86. I was out in Ventura, California. I'm visiting cousins in Ventura, California for like a week and a half vacation. And I'd never heard the replacements. I was pretty much just listening to either what my parents had or what was on the radio or what MTV was showing. I wasn't looking for anything that wasn't already popular. This was around 85 or 86. And he put in Kids Don't Follow. My older cousin, he's 3 years older than me. And so I just fell in love with all of that stuff. So, back when I used to sit in my room and draw quite a bit, I used to play not only Tim, but pretty much their entire playlist up through 85, 86. Bring it, Dave.
The second note I have is you can tell the album was recorded in Memphis because of the horns in the song Alex Chilton. This is what I think that the Stray Cats would have sounded like if they wouldn't have broke up by the late 80s. See, I can't read most of them.
Yeah, was that by the end of the 2-hour binge that you went on?
Skyway is the song that doesn't sound like it belongs on the album, even though it's one of the better songs. It sounds like Westerberg recorded it on a weekend when no one else was around because he was afraid to have the other guys listen to it because it was too good.
Trying to rank these in some kind of numbered order.
You know about that band.
Skyway would be
Listen to Bester.
kind of like the demarcation line for everybody to figure out where on earth that belongs. How you felt about it would change how you rank the rest of them.
The other note I have is that you could tell that Bob Stenson wasn't there because the Max sound, I guess, wasn't real prominent like on the other albums.
Yeah, it's probably a Crossroads album.
Yeah,
I thought it sounded like demos, except for a couple. A couple seemed like they were complete, like where they had reached their full potential. Alex Chilton is
Can't Hardly Wait and Alex Chilton are really good pop songs. You know, like
Alex Chilton's probably the best thing the replacements,
right,
without a doubt. On Tim and Let It Be, they're kind of goofy in a way on those albums. Obviously, there's Gary's Got a Boner, and
Gary's Got a Boner is a beautiful song. It's a haunting melody, and take that back.
It's the most beautiful song
also
about
have
boner I've ever heard.
Yeah, that's in my top 5 of boner songs.
Yes, yes.
Do you still have more notes, Dave?
I can't read them though. I have that Nighttime Jitter is cool, jazzy, sounds like androgynous kind of, and that's all I could read.
Chris Wilson's up next.
Versioneers.
His notes are out. He just heard it for the first time this week.
Yep. IOU. I said I like it. Good tune. Gives me 8 vinyl boners.
Whoa! Wow!
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. Alex Chilton. I thought the there was a good use of the word pillage in there. I gave that 6.5 Vinyl Boners.
Oh.
It seems
So
controversial.
right off the song, you just said Alex Chilton's their best song, and then he says, no, it isn't. It's not even the best song on the first two songs on his album.
It came in second out of 2.
So next we have I Don't Know. I like that one. That's 8.5 Vinyl Boners. So that's my favorite so far. Nightclub Jitters, I thought that was good. A good nightclub vibe. There was some crooning. That's always a plus. So that's give me 8 Vinyl Boners. I have the Ledge.
No,
The Ledge is okay. I wasn't very into it. I give it 4.5 Vinyl Boners. Yeah, I was the lowest. Yeah. Next we've got Never. My note on Nevermind just says meh. It was 4.5.
I have a meh note too.
That is tied for my least favorite. Next, Valentine's. I thought there were some good rhymes in there. 7.5 Vinyl Boners. Shooting
Sounds about
Dirty
right.
Pool was interesting. I gave it a 5. I could take it or leave it. Red Red Wine was my second favorite song titled Red Red Wine. Skyway, I said, where'd that come from? Not bad. 6 Vinyl Boners. Can't Hardly Wait, good opening and tune. 8 Vinyl Boners. So, yeah, as a new listener, there was some highs
So
and
what
lows,
won?
but what won was, I don't know.
I don't know.
Half the album's better than Alex Chilton.
To the uninitiated.
That's why we do this.
Yeah.
So overall, as an album, would you ever be partaking again?
I don't see me going, man,
Yeah.
I really want to listen to that. You know? Because, like, I had only ever heard the Westerberg on that single soundtrack, and then I've never heard any replacements. So, this was my first entree.
Dyslexic. All right, Justin.
That's awesome.
Justin, you got to go at 3. It's like 2.
All right. For me, the notes I got after watching WVU lose on Friday, I should have been really depressed, but I wasn't. First time I remember hearing the Replacements, probably or seeing them, was the Bastards of Young video on MTV. But like Chris said, I think a lot of people got reintroduced to Replacements with the single soundtrack. That's a good place to go back and start listening to, hey, who's this band or whatever, you know? I think Let It Be is my favorite album, and I've always thought that Pleased to Meet Me and Tim fight for second best child. You know, like you guys touched on, Bob Stinson left the band, and you can tell like a big difference between this album and Tim pretty much. I think this is a good album to introduce people to the Replacements, though. Probably their best album to introduce them to the Replacements. I didn't put these songs in order, but I did The Forgettable. I think Nightclub Jitters is probably one of my least favorite songs on here. You know, just because they went to jazz a little bit, I think it's kind of skippable. And Shooting Dirty Pool, I can't, you know, I could skip that anytime. It's not one of my favorites on here. Okay to Good, I got Nevermind, Valentine, and Red Red Wine. They're all kind of, they're nice songs, but they're kind of like, you know, the meat in between and the sandwich kind of goes to songs that I like from the other albums, like Nevermind kind of reminds me of 16 Blue. But yeah, so I'd put, I think The Ledge is, you know, somewhere that, you know, Westerberg never went before, even though the guitar solo sounds like something straight out of a Tom Cruise movie now. But I think lyrically it shows that how good Westerberg was. In the grade category, I got IOU. It's a nice opener. Kind of shows where they are at the time compared to the other albums. I Don't Know pretty much sums up the handshake on the front of the album. You know,
Yes.
Are they punks or corporate rock? We don't know. And the deadpan stoner, you know, I don't know. Along with the horns. I mean, this was recorded at Art and Studios. That's a huge deal. This is where like Otis Redding and like Big Star recorded stuff back in the day. Skyway is like, you know, the best thing Alex Chilton, you know, he channels his Alex Chilton on that song. It's pretty. It's really good. Can't Hardly Wait, I'm sure is a favorite by you guys. It's not a favorite of mine, but it's really good. It's a good single. And then Alex Chilton is like their best song for me. I mean, that should be a hit now or anytime.
Not for
you
Chris
know.
Wilson.
So
He's
I'd
more
say,
of a
you know, the
B-side,
plus is they moved on with a really good album here, like despite losing Bob Stinson. You know, they're more of a rock band than a punk band here, but it's still, Westerberg's really writing some good stuff here and everything. And not trying to find that, you know, he made a big hit without making a big hit with Alex Chilton.
Yeah.
This is a perfect companion. I think the 14 songs are stuff from his 90s output. I'd say the Downfall it's a bit of a sandwich album to me. Like the stuff at the beginning and end is better than the meat in between a little bit. So when it came down to it, I gave it a light 8 VBs. Because I started at a strong 7, but I moved it up to light 8 after 2 hours of drinking on Friday. So that was fun. It was a good album to go back and rediscover, because I think I put the songs I like that in playlists, that I listen to. So it was nice to listen to the whole thing as a whole again. Let It Be I'll listen to on occasion, but I haven't listened to Please to maybe probably in a decade or so. So it was nice. It was a good listen.
I thought a lot of them sounded like they were still demos. It sounded like they'd gotten their big record contract and they did what the replacements do, which is they had a very good idea and then they decide to celebrate that good idea. They're going to go drinking, and then they don't finish it up until, oh shit, it's due, and then they hurried up and did some stuff. And a couple of them sound completely finished. Alex Chilton's finished. Can't Hardly Wait's finished. That, I don't know, could have been way better. I mean, it's all there. You can hear all the seedlings in almost every song, except that Nightclub Jitters. And then Dirty Pool, I thought Shooting Dirty Pool was almost like the record company had a say in that. And they said, yeah, do this like bar fighty type song. And then even smash a bottle in it, because we're rebellious, and that's what rebellion's all about. Is smashing a beer bottle.
That sound effect into the solo is probably the worst thing on the whole album. And I actually have it right here in my notes when I photocopied it.
It dates that song. It hurt that song when it came out. But with him leaving during it, it makes sense that some of the stuff wasn't completely finished. I thought it's a good album. It's not as good as Tim. So I would give it, if I had to give it some Vynyl Boners.
And you do.
And I'll give it about 7 Vynyl Boners. And it's mainly, though, Alex Chilton alone. Yeah. If this were an EP and Alex Chilton were one of 5 songs, I'd probably give it 9. It lets you know how good they can be. And that may be why I'm more harsh on some of the unfinished songs, or what I consider unfinished songs.
Well, I start reviewing it. I start out every album, I give it 5, and then I go up and down as I listen to it, right? Like as the boner goes up, so does the rating and everything. And this album starts out at a 5, and it shoots right up to like a 9-ish. Whoa! And then after I don't know, it starts coming back down, and then by the time you get to Valentine, you're back down to about a 7, maybe 7.5. Then it gets down, it might go to a 6.5, 7. And then Skyway and Can't Hardly Wait knock it back. I could probably give it a 7.5. But see, for me, I started on the replacements. I bought the tape. It was Don't Tell a Soul. And then after that, I loved Don't Tell a Soul. And I bought, and then I went backwards. I bought everything all at once. And I ended up with like 9 or 10 of theirs, whatever, all of it at once. And I never found anything that I really enjoyed more than, but this one, I give it 7, maybe 7.5. Justin's light 8 sounded pretty nice. But I'll give it 7.5 Vynyl Boners.
A light. Let's not. Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm a big.
I'm sliding to give it a 4 right there.
The whole thing kind of has this sound to it, like it sounds like a garage. Some of the songs sound like they recorded in one take, like just playing from the beginning to the end, and that's really cool. That's good. I guess that's where I'm at with this album. The front of the album there, the dual covers. That's an Elvis thing. That's from an Elvis album. That's nice.
That was one thing I didn't like about it. I remember when the album came out, I didn't buy it on purpose because it reminded me of that Pink Floyd Handshake album, and I hated Pink Floyd so much that I just said, well, F them. There's plenty of other records to buy today. Camelot music is full of records. I don't need this handshake homage to the Pink Floyd.
Shaking hands with a robot.
I just figured out what the next album's going to be.
Jack just went down to a 6. I think that Tim's their best record, but Alex Chilton's their best song.
I think I'm more of a Westerberg guy than a Replacements guy.
Tim was the album that I listened to the most. I would sit and actually just listen to it instead of just hitting a song here, a song there I liked on my compilation tapes that I created.
Would you fast forward that much anyways back then? I mean, fast forward wasn't a great option.
No. No, it wasn't. I was just playing music while I was drawing while I was in my room drawing. And Tim was the first album that I came back to this last week when I was going through album after album to think about what was the stuff that I really remember listening to alone in my room with headphones on. So after going through that, I went to Let It Be, and I said, well, geez, Let It Be might be one of their best albums. When I went with Pleased to Meet Me, it was really because I knew it was the big change. It was getting rid of Bob, getting rid of their prior manager right before then. They got the handshake on the cover with the guy with the diamond ring and then the guy with the torn work shirt, which I think, I Don't Know, was meant to be. I think I Don't Know, which is, I only ranked as a 5 out of the 11 songs on here. Although I agree with Jack that it sure could have been good. It seemed like that was the cover statement is the I Don't Know song. They kick in the door with IOU, I think, for a reason to kind of say, hey, we're still us. Whereas like Shootin' Dirty Pool, I see that as the worst song on the album easily.
See, I think Shootin' Dirty Pool sounds like most replacement songs.
It's a big throwaway. I mean, like
yeah, no, I agree with that. I'm just talking about the sound of it.
I went ahead and easily put Alex Chilton and Can't Hardly Wait at the top. And Can't Hardly Wait, I think, is a song that is, for this album, I decided to look at it as where do the songs belong on the album instead of just which of the songs I like the most, whatever. I was in what I liked then, because it's been so long since I listened to the album. It's been over a decade for me, easily. And so I just kind of ranked it the way that I thought it belonged in the album. And so, although I like IOU, I didn't rank it particularly high because it's not, to me, a great song, but it's a good way to start this album. And coming into Alex Chilton right away, which is a great pop song and remains a good pop song, is a great way to just get rolling. I agree with John when he's saying, you know, it shot up to a 9 after like the first 3 songs, and then they throw Nightclub Jitters at you, which I considered the second worst song on the album, and not really something I want to listen to. The Ledge I ranked way higher than a lot of people probably, because
the third single from the album, The Ledge.
That guitar solo, man! I'm waiting for like CC DeVille to come walk, like start having the "I Won't Forget You" shred off with Westerberg there or something, man. Like, that's the only thing that I can't get by with The Ledge. I think it's a great song, but I don't know, 87, which is fine. I mean, it was made in 87.
And then Skyway ended up the singles release.
I like Skyway. I didn't put it.
Yeah, Skyway's. This album could use one more Skyway, I think. Could have used one more Skyway in the middle of this thing, and it would have brought my VBs up.
Would have firmed up that VB for you?
Would have pumped that up to a mid-range 8 VB, bro.
A hard 8. So anyway, I give the whole thing. It's not even my favorite Replacements album. I just felt like it was a good place to start listening to the Replacements if you never had, because I thought there might be some people who didn't ever give a crap about the Replacements, and you know, they were so different from what they were doing with Stink and Sorry Ma, I forgot to take out the trash back, and you know, so that kind of fast punk stuff versus when Westerberg continued to take over, I thought this was a good demarcation line of the Replacements career.
So when you're done listening to this record, you have to decide whether you want to go forward with the band or retreat backwards with the band. There's no...
Depends on the mood I'm in.
Right.
If forward is better, but then again, we got to remember Let It Be and Tim are both before this album.
Yes.
So, and Let It Be and Tim are good albums. So,
yeah, for me, it was Let It Be, like, as a full album, it was Let It Be first, and then Forward. For John, you picked up Don't Tell a Soul and moved backwards, like in 89, right?
Yep.
So.
Well, I'm going to have to just say I give the whole album a 7. I think that's about right for somewhere between 7 and 8. But I'll give it a 7.
I'll tell you one thing, Bill.
This album was in the Caravel of Love in my car.
I gave Boston's debut a 7.
Box.
It's a strong debut album.
It's a touch better than Boston's debut.
Caravel of Love.
Oh, you think it's better than Boston?
What?
And that was in there.
Just a touch. For like a week after we talked about Boston, I couldn't get the line, I'm going to show you Sweet Delight from Let Me Take You Home Tonight out of my head. And I'm walking around thinking, Jack has touched on what the Boston debut is about. Show you Sweet Delight.
I think Justin needs to go soon, and I know I do pretty soon.
Yeah, a couple of minutes or
Does
so.
anybody have anything they want to say?
John Boyd has a
Yes,
3 o'clock
Chris,
meeting.
You're up
What
next
time is it?
Chris.
Oh. Yep.
No, just go
Whatever that
ahead.
may be.
Wrap up. Tell us who you stick in the listening booth, and we got to figure out another day.
Yep.
Chris is in the listening booth.
I saw that.
Thanks for listening.
Hey, you're welcome. I'll give it another listen.
So,
Listen
he
to
needs to listen to Alex Chilton about 10 more times,
Okay.
man.
Go on the headphones and listen to Alex Chilton. And
Will
You Can't
do.
Hardly Wait is, like I said, I think it works better because it's the last song on the album versus if it were somewhere in the middle. But it's it's not. It's a really pretty good song too. That kind of sums up a lot about what.
It's great when you're listening to the cassette because it ends with that and then kicks right back on at the beginning. So with that old loop, that loop thing. Now on vinyl it doesn't work as good, but on cassette, you get that IOU
That's
after
why I
Can't
said
Hardly Wait.
This is like a sandwich album. You know, we've all got those sandwich albums, man,
Yeah.
where the buns are better than the meat in between.
Yeah.
And this is definitely a sandwich. Sandwich albums are never essential, but the buns are really good, man.
That's what Sir Mix-a-Lot says.
Do what you want with
right.
that. This is delicious all around. Gary's got a Boners number 9 on this thing. There's stuff in the middle that's good in this and everything too. But no.
I was this close to choosing Let It Be as the album this week, but I decided to go with Please Meet Me instead. But I guess that's about it.